Younger, I never thought the time would come where I wouldn't know the names of the modern music, right?
I was just gonna say quickly, Demi Lovato is actually, she recently just came out of a lot of issues with substance abuse, and she's come back, and I think it's so powerful that she's written so much beautiful music, because she's struggled so much with her mental health, and she's recently come back recovered, and I think that's really phenomenal. And it's great to know that story when you hear this music, to know that that's the struggle behind these words. So that's a little tidbit.
Yeah, that's great because it is wonderful when you know the music's coming out of real lived experience. Well, let's have a prayer. Gracious Spirit of wisdom of Easter, of Pentecost, arise up in us, draw out your best in us. And in this time of reflection, the only truth be spoken and the only truth be heard, we ask. Amen. So, I need you to know that it's hard to be a minister without seeing all of you folks. I miss you. I think we could say the same for all the worship leaders here. We miss you. And I enjoy being able to talk to you on the phone and do the other tasks of ministry. But when it comes to preparing worship, it's been very difficult because I get my sermons out of my connections with you. Talking to you before service or after service, or what we might share at a meeting or at a fundraiser or something. And so not having that connection with you, it's been like trying to get gold out of a bunch of rocks. And it's been tough, so it's my way of saying I miss you and I love you. I mean, and then doing worship is just so weird. I mean, I can look around the congregation and both pews of both churches, and I can see where you all sit. I mean, I can pretty well go through every name of the folks at Mount Zion and Trinity and know right where you sit, and it doesn't feel good not seeing you there. And then, of course, when I am preaching, I actually get responses from you. So I know if you're bored and sleeping, and I can kick things up a notch. I'll know if you're really getting into something, and we can move there a bit more. So it'll be good whenever we can get back together. And I need you to know that it's not just in preaching that you inspire me. Really, everyone I've gotten to know at any depth at Trinity and at Mount Zion, you inspire me. You touch me. You make me want to be a better person. And that's a wonderful thing. And I suspect we do that for one another. That's what spiritual community is all about. When we gather in values of love and kindness and respect, you just really inspire me. And this week I was working with two families around funerals. And again, I was inspired. I did a funeral for Danny Wilson. And as I talked with his brother and his sister and learned his story, it was so inspiring. He started out in London here as a kid, a boy's boy. He loved cars, he loved motorcycles. But by the time of his late teens, he was an alcoholic and a heroin addict. But by the time he was about 30, he got into NA and AA and he turned his life around. And I mean, that is so inspiring. And his family forgave him. I mean, I didn't ask any details, but I can only imagine the chaos because I've seen it elsewhere when you have someone in the family who's addicted. It just was chaos for everybody. And really, his family had given up on him except his mom. His mom always believed that he could make something of himself, that he could deal with that demon. And he did. And he lived a great life, and he had great jobs. And he was a caring person who then was able to take what he went through and help others. He was a sponsor in AA, and where he worked, whenever there was someone they discovered was an alcoholic or a drug addict, management would get them in touch with him so that he could provide some guidance. And so that's just part of the inspiration. And then, of course, I met with Audrey and Audrey's sister, Marion, around the death of Marion's husband, Claude. And his life was a very different trajectory. He grew up in Nova Scotia, but he and his mom and grandmother moved to Aylmer when he was just 10 because his parents split up. And back in those days, I mean, it's tough enough now, but the shame that was imposed on people back in those days if you split up was just tremendous. And so he moved to Aylmer, and lo and behold, he was right across the street from Marion and Audrey. And Marion took a fondness to him, he took a fondness to her, and as teenagers they hung out together and they got married in their late teens. And they had a wonderful life together. He was Roman Catholic, she was Protestant. Back in those days, that was a big deal, but they knew that love was all that mattered. And Claude was just an amazing gentleman all his life, a true gentleman, empathetic, emotionally available to the people in his life. And we just celebrate him. And as I heard the stories about him and how he covered all the bases, great worker, great friend to people at work, friends with Marion, a wonderful son, and so I just give thanks. And that's what it's all about, realizing how Easter power, the magic, it's a part of all of us. We're not just flesh and blood. We've got this spirit thing happening that energizes the whole universe and energizes us. And so as different as we are, we all share that commonality and we all share those deep desires. And if you're listening in today and your life is in chaos, there is hope. There was a time my life was in chaos where I didn't see a future, but others around me did. And be in touch with our communities because we'll surround you with hope. We'll see in you things you maybe now can't see in yourself. And that's what we do for one another. And so in our gospel today, John's gospel presents Jesus as preparing his friends and his family for his death. And for the fact that after his death, he won't be physically with them anymore. But he's telling them, my spirit will be with you because my spirit and your spirit, they all come from God and we live in that spiritual realm. We are spirits in a body. And he says this amazing thing to them, and this is a reflection of what the community that wrote this book understood, and it's so profound. They had Jesus say, I am telling you the truth. Those who believe in me and what I do and this love that I share, they will do even greater things because I go to the Father. And my spirit will be with them. So think about that. You know, we celebrate Jesus, but we're the resurrected body of Jesus. And I don't think we grasp our influence. I don't think we grasp the power of being kind people. Of being people who always try to look for the good. And then when we get knocked off stride by our own pain and anger and hurts, we get back on the path. And we struggle with our illnesses, physical illnesses that can drive us down, mental illnesses, but we keep trying. We keep doing our best. We've got no idea what that counts for. I've often felt the United Church doesn't get its potential. It doesn't realize how precious the communities that we can be are. Because they're rare that we can have communities where we don't judge people for anything other than if they're being mean and nasty. And so that's our great gift, to be that welcoming, caring community. Because when we do that, these words the community attributed to Jesus come true. We are doing greater things than Jesus did. You know, I had a psychiatrist teach me a course on death and dying once, and he said an amazing thing. He said, if you're really close to a parent and they die, their traits are going to come out stronger in you after they've died. Isn't that cool? So the traits of Jesus are still coming out in those who gather around that message and presence of love. And of course, we see that throughout history, that people in their death become more powerful after. I mean, Martin Luther King Jr. Many people feel if he hadn't been assassinated, all the civil rights legislation that passed as a result of that wouldn't have passed. And we think of Terry Fox, what a great example. I mean, he's still accomplishing more every year in terms of his fight for cancer and raising money than he was able to do when he was alive. what's so exciting, friends. We are part of this living spiritual being, an organism we call the universe, and what we do matters. And then Jesus said, the Helper, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you what you need to know. And that's the other thing. We can get so down on ourselves because of what we don't know. We get down on ourselves because we don't know how we're going to actually handle a situation. But the deal is, if we'll just do our best and draw wisdom from those God's placed in our lives, God does the rest. Life will see us through. And so, that's the reality for all people. This isn't a Christian thing. I mean, the Christ, we talk about the Christ, that word's been attributed to many people where the Spirit of God has just shone through. The Christ just means anointed. Jesus the anointed. And so as Christians, we claim that we're anointed too. Muhammad was anointed. Buddha was anointed. Anybody who's helped draw the best out of people is anointed. And we share in that power. That's what's given to us as human beings. And that's what's given to us as participants in creation. Because we share in the family business of evolving a better world. And it's knowing that connects us to the hope and the joy we need. And so Jesus says, I have told you this, so that my joy may be in you, and your joy may be complete. My commandment is this, to love one another as I loved you. I chose you and appointed you to bear much fruit, the kind of fruit that endures. And so there's a joy and a hope that comes when we realize that we're connected, when we realize we don't have to be better than we are, when we realize that mostly the things that we think we need, we don't, and that what we truly need is given to us and will come to us through the gifts of those God places in our lives. And so that prepares us for Pentecost. Pentecost, this is a Pentecost story from John. In Acts, the Pentecost, it's set up in a different way, but it's the same story. The Spirit comes, and we're able to do things we never thought that we could. And so, as we journey through this pandemic time, I know we've all been having some time to think. It's moved us into deeper thoughts. I've found I'm having clearer dreams than I've ever had. I wake up remembering my dreams. I haven't remembered my dreams since I was a kid. And so there's a ferment that's happening all throughout the world. And so the questions I'm seeing different people ask in different ways, I wonder what good can come out of this. Because you see, while the Creator doesn't cause chaos, chaos is a ground of existence, and the Creator is always bringing good out of it. So what in your spirit is being triggered as to what you think? What good do you think might come out of this? Now, I'm going to pause just to kind of stimulate this thought and then return to that question for us. What good? What is Spirit trying to do? What can Spirit do with us out of this? So let's listen to this video.
Tell me the one about the wax skin. Then I'm going to bed.
Oh my boy, you're growing weary, sleepy thoughts about your head.
Please, that one's my favorite. I promise just once more.
Okay, settle down, boy, though I know you know full well. The story starts before then, in a world I once would dwell. It was a world of waste and wonder, poverty and plenty, back before we understood why hindsight's 2020. You see, the people came up with companies to trade across all lands, but they swelled and were much bigger than we ever could have planned. We'd always had our wants, but now it got so quick. You could have anything you dreamed of in a day, and with a click. We noticed families had stopped talking. That's not to say they never spoke, but the meaning must have melted, and the work-life balance broke. And the children's eyes grew swelled, and every toddler had a phone. They filtered out the imperfections, but amidst the noise, they felt alone. And every day the skies grew thicker, till you couldn't see the stars. So we flew in planes to find them, while down below, we filled our cars. We drive around all day in circles. We'd forgotten how to run. We swapped the grass and tarmac, shrunk the parks till there were none. We filled the sea with plastic, because our waste was never capped, until each day when you went fishing, you'd pull them out, already wrapped. And while we drank and smoked and gambled, our leaders taught us why. It's best to not upset the lawyers. More convenient to die. But then in 2020, a new virus came our way. The governments reacted and told us all to hide away. But while we all were hidden, amidst the fear, and all the while, people dusted off their instincts. They remembered how to smile. They started clapping to say thank you, and calling up their mums. And while the car keys gathered dust, they would look forward to their runs. And with the skies less full of voyagers, the earth began to breathe, and the beaches bore new wildlife that scuttled off into the seas. Some people started dancing, some were singing, some were baking. We'd grown so used to bad news, but saw good news was in the making. And so when we found the cure, and were allowed to go outside, we all preferred the world we found to the one we left behind. Old habits became extinct, and they made way for the new, and every simple act of kindness was now given its due.
But why did it take a virus to bring the people back together?
Sometimes you've got to get sick, my boy, before you start feeling better. Now lie down and dream of tomorrow, and all the things that we can do. And who knows, if you dream hard enough, maybe some of them will come true. We now call it the Great Realization. And yes, since then there have been many. But that's the story of how it started, and why hindsight's 2020.
So I want you to help me with my sermon next Sunday. As we move into Pentecost, if you've had a thought of, boy, maybe this could happen because of this. Maybe, I've been thinking of some things myself. Maybe finally there'll be proper funding for long-term care facilities. I mean, all the governments have been talking about that in Ontario over the last, 4 different governments. And maybe that'll happen. Maybe we'll get a minimum income so that we don't need to have all these different supports and all the bureaucracy that it costs to do them. So what is it Spirit has triggered in your heart? What's one thing that you've been thinking, oh, wouldn't it be good if this could happen? Just email me or call it in, and I'll gather those together next Sunday. So I'd love to hear from you. Of course, this past week, we interviewed one of our prospective interns. Next week, we're going to interview another one. And one of the questions I sent to both of them, letting them know I'd be asking, is what's the gospel? What's the good news? And the intern we just interviewed said hope. And that's as good as anything. And that's what this is all about, having hope. And I want to finish by reference to this cross from Mount Zion. This cross, how close should I come here? How are we doing here? Can I come closer?
That's great.
Okay. This cross survived the fire at Mount Zion. When the whole roof burnt and much of the church burnt. And you probably can't see, but it's got burn marks all over it. It was sprayed with something so that it wouldn't be ash. Though I'll still get a little ash on me because of it. And you can see on the base where it's dripped down. And I think this is a great symbol of what Christianity is all about. A cross is painful, but the fire in this cross evokes that understanding of chaos, pain, frustration, and loss. And yet it withstood the fire. And we can withstand the fire too. Not by ourselves, isolation kills, but together. And knowing that we're children of the universe, that the Spirit of Easter is with us and moves us into Pentecostal power. we give thanks that together we can not only survive, but we thrive. Thanks be to God.